The point is, obedience is fine. That's how I feel about it. It's fine. It's fine. But it's not everything. It's certainly not everything. And again, I think it's the thing that we get caught up on the most. We believe that obedience is the answer to all the things. And lots of the time, it's not. It's not. Here's your test. I'll tell you the test. Here's the test. If your dog already knows obedience, right? And they do it some of the time, okay? Then they don't need more obedience, right? You don't need to keep teaching them more of what they already know that's not working. That's not going to help you at all. You need to actually start thinking outside the box, start asking questions like, why doesn't my dog want to come to me? Why does my dog, when I open the door, want to bolt out of the house and run down the road? Like, how interesting. Why is that? Yes, today on the podcast, we are talking about what your newly adopted dog really wants and needs. And hint, it's not more obedience. Let's get into it. Ready to have a calm and peaceful life with your dog without the stress of those fear-based behaviors? Hi, I'm Tracy, and I've been there, overwhelmed by all the conflicting dog training advice and unsure of what to do next. But now I help dog lovers like you simplify your life with your dog by building confidence naturally, fostering trust, and addressing those fear-based challenges. So, if you're ready, stop chopping those chicken wieners and let's get to it.
Tracy, it's Heather and Geordie. I think, as you know, when I joined the Fearless Framework, I was ready to rehome him because life was just full of frustration, anger and tears. We had no connection. He preferred his own company. Walks were a nightmare with pulling, reactivity to dogs and anything that moved. But here we are a few months later, and I love this dog. We're still on our journey, I know, but it has become enjoyable again. So what changed? I did. You changed me. You opened my mind to really understand and see Geordie. You removed the pressure around training and time constraints. And I think you reminded me of the importance of simply being with our dogs. And you've shown me what it means to be a leader that he can rely on. The importance of understanding life through his eyes, providing opportunities, I think, so that his fulfillment is meaningful and rewarding to him. And yay, I get to be a part of it. So I can't believe that I now share this fabulous partnership with him and that our time together has become magical, be it just hanging about at home or on our nature walks. So Tracy, you are amazing. And because of you, I now get to share my life with this incredible dog. I really want you to know that I appreciate your generosity of time and insight that you give to your students in this wonderful community, the Fearless Framework.
Hey there, friend. If you're ready for more ease, more trust, more peace in your life with your dog, come on over and join us inside the Fearless Framework. It's my 12-month online program designed to help you build a big, beautiful bond with your dog, the kind that makes everything else easier. Head on over to beyondobedience.ca/fearless and let's get started today. I'll see you there. Well, hello, my beautiful friend. It is Tracy. Welcome to Beyond Obedience, the podcast. Super duper welcome if you are brand new. If you're brand new, hello and welcome to Beyond Obedience. Remember, this is Beyond Obedience. It's not anti-obedience. We're not anti-obedience. We like obedience. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Is it everything? No, it's not. I think that's where most of us went wrong, myself included. I mean, I did all the things. I went through all the classes and hey, you know, I've been thinking a lot about this because I'm like, when was it that I sort of stopped digging the classes? Like, because I used to like it. Like, I used to be like, I'm going to take my dogs. And I did have this feeling like going to obedience was like special time for me and my dog. It's focused time for me and my dog, which, hey, it is. It absolutely is. But what was I doing it for? Some of it felt like obligation, if I'm being honest. Like, I felt like I should, you know, like it's the responsible thing to do is to take your dog to obedience classes. Sometimes, I think especially after I graduated veterinary technology, I felt like I had even more responsibility because, like, I'm now like a professional vet tech and I should know better and I should take my dogs to obedience classes. I did go through that period where I had the dog that was biting, and I was like, I must do obedience. Obedience will solve everything. Spoiler alert, it didn't. It didn't. Anyway, but yeah, and now I'm at a point in my life where a lot of people are shocked to hear this. I don't think like most of my dogs don't really know sit. You know the amount of times I've taken my dogs into stores that have like where you're dog friendly stores, and they'll have like the cookies behind the counter and they'll be like, oh, can I give your dog a cookie? And I'm like, yeah, if you want to, kind of a thing. And then they'll come around and the first thing they'll say is, sit. Can you sit? And I'll look at them and be like, no, no, they can't. And people find that shocking because it's like the first thing you teach a dog, right? It's the first thing that you teach a dog is to sit, to take a cookie. But yeah, my dogs are kind of like, sometimes they'll sit. A lot of times they will sit because the person is holding the cookie over their head. So it kind of forces them to sit. But I'm like, they didn't do it because it's a command they know. They just don't know. Because, and you've heard me say, if you've been around a while, you've heard me say it. I don't know. Why sit? What's the purpose of sit? What is the purpose of the sit? Why does the dog need to sit? He doesn't need to have his butt on the ground to make his mouth work. Like, there's no reason for it. Anyway, I digress. The point is, obedience is fine. That's how I feel about it. It's fine. It's fine. It's not everything. It's certainly not everything. And again, I think it's the thing that we get caught up on the most. We believe that obedience is the answer to all the things. And lots of the time, it's not. It's not. Here's your test. I'll tell you the test. Here's the test. If your dog already knows obedience, right? And they do it some of the time, okay? Then they don't need more obedience, right? You don't need to keep teaching them more of what they already know that's not working. That's not going to help you at all. You need to actually start thinking outside the box, start asking questions like, why doesn't my dog want to come to me? Why does my dog, when I open the door, want to bolt out of the house and run down the road? Like, how interesting. Why is that? You want to start thinking that way. When you start thinking that way, then you'll start going, oh, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. And not in the way that you're the problem. Like, let me also get that. I don't want to make it like, this isn't blame. This isn't me like blaming you. This is me being like, let's identify it. And that should feel empowering. Many of you are like, it's not really empowering, Trace. It just feels like you're blaming me. No, I'm not. It should feel empowering. You should feel empowered. You should be like, oh, it's me. Because I can change. I can make this better. I can learn more. I can start to understand the dog better. I can start to get these skill sets to make things easier for myself. I can actually put a little bit more emphasis on me to learn the things than I do to get the dog to learn the things. You realize how like ass backwards it is, right? We spend so much time trying to get dogs to understand us. And the funny thing is, you know how many times as a trainer I'll hear the phrase, oh, my dog should know better. Like he did, gosh, I was so angry that my dog should know better. And I'm like, what? Why should your dog know better? Well, I taught him that. Okay, but also it's not really in his nature to know that, right? It's not in their nature. We really need to stop focusing on putting all the responsibility on the dogs to understand humans, and maybe, just maybe, put a little bit more onus on us to understand dogs. Because once we do that, it takes a lot of my dog should know better, takes that right off the table. Like when you start to understand dogs, you'll go, oh, my dog wouldn't know that at all. Why would my dog know that? And you'd also start getting a heck of a lot more respect for the things your dog puts up with and tolerates when you start to understand them more. Like you're like, oh man, you really tolerate my really ignorant behavior. Like it gives you a lot more respect. That's all I'm saying. What are we talking about today? I don't even know. It's getting close to the end of the year, my friends. Here's hoping that 2026 brings, inspired newness and a renewed energy to us all. Because I don't know about you, but I'm already tired. I'm so tired. All right, I want to talk about newly adopted dogs. Let's talk about newly adopted dogs for a second. And what they really want. In the spirit of Christmas, we're going to say it's not a toy. In the spirit of the holidays, we're going to say your newly adopted dog doesn't want a toy. I wanted to talk a little bit about this. I've spoken about this before, but I'm going to talk about it again. Just because I don't know why I was, again, scrolling on the socials, and there's a lot of movement of dogs right now. There's some people looking for dogs. There's some posts about don't get a holiday dog and all of that stuff. And I don't want to get into the rigmarole of that and the psychology around it and how it is or isn't a bad idea to get a dog at Christmas and all of those things. Personally, I'll tell you one thing for me personally. I don't like getting puppies in the winter for the simple fact that it's hard to housebreak a puppy in the snow. Like when you when you have to rush them outside and then you got to find your boots and it doesn't work. I like my puppies in the spring. But anyway, that's not even here nor there. I want to talk about this idea of when we get a new dog. And I want to talk about the idea of a dog, because especially a newly adopted dog, you've got a dog that has a history. They have experiences. They have thoughts and ideas and feelings and all the things. And you might not know their whole story, or worse, it's a made up story. And that happens more often than I would like to admit, but it does. And so what happens when people get a new dog, this dog comes in with experiences and their own belief system of what is safe and what isn't safe and all of those things. And you might not know it. And what do we do, generally speaking, when we get a newly adopted dog? There's usually, especially if it's a rescue and we adopt them, and especially if they have a sad story, we come at this whole thing with this, like, I've rescued you. Put your superhero cape on. Dun, da, da, da. I've rescued you and I've taken you away from whatever horrible experience. But now I'm going to do all of these things for you. Like we have this like almost an overcompensating feeling about it. Like we have to compensate for the fact that the dog had a really rough start in life. And while I appreciate that, I appreciate where we're coming from when we're doing those things, it's not in the dog's best interest. Because what does your dog really want, or what do they really need when they first come into your home is a survival checklist. That's the first thing that all dogs are going to do. Dogs are all about survival, and especially for poor dogs that have been moved around a lot. They've been in a shelter, then they went to foster for a while, then their foster wasn't able to foster them anymore. They came back to the shelter, they went to another foster. All of this bumping around is really challenging for dogs because they have to then start over. They have to start anew, right? They have to go through their survival checklist every time, and it becomes stressful. So what are they looking for? They're looking for who feeds me? Like, where's the food at? Where's the water at? Basic survival stuff. Where's the food at? Where's the water at? Where do I sleep? Who walks me? What is the social structure of this house? Social structure is part of survival. And if you don't think your new dog is coming in and taking notes, they are, right? So many new dogs, if they come into a house and there's a cat there, they'll be like, the cat is in charge. That's the first thing they'll figure out. Nobody messes with that cat. That cat is in charge. Those humans make sure the cat always has food and water and he's always comfortable. The cat is in charge. But social structure is going to be the first thing that they're going to look at. If you have other dogs, they're going to be reading those other dogs. They're going to be like, okay, what's going on here? Who's in charge? Who's the one to look to when there are threats, when there's a potential threat. Who are we looking to? What are we doing? Where are we going? All of that stuff becomes their first priority. It's all about survival. So when we come at it from that perspective, one of the greatest things that you can give your dog is that routine. Is though you want to give them those predictable patterns. They start to recognize, okay, this person feeds me every morning. Then we go for a walk. Then we spend some time in the backyard. Then we come in and we have rest time. Then we have snack time, whatever the routine is. You want to get your dog into that routine and being like, this is where you sleep. This is how we migrate. This is how we play. These are the expectations. You want to set very specific expectations of where your dog is allowed to be in the house. We don't want to start off the dog and just open up the doors and be like, everything is yours. We want to give some, like, less is more when we start off. Start off small and then build out. We want to have that routines and predictability all built in. We need calmness, quiet leadership. All of that matters more than toys and attention, right? Honestly, you need to be boring. Just be hella boring, right? Because you want to be reliable. And that's what what that predictability is what makes you feel safe. That is true for dogs. That is true for you, right? You move into a brand new, brand new space, brand new, I'm in Canada. You move to a brand new province. That's what happened to me. I'm going to use me. We came from Ontario and moved to Nova Scotia. And we moved here because, of the change and the pace was slower and everything was nice and people were friendly and all of that stuff. And we wanted to sort of get out of the rat race. And so we moved to Nova Scotia. And there's a sense of uncomfortableness when you first move because you don't know, we didn't know where anything was. Where did we get our groceries? I remember the first week that I was here, I was like, when do we put the garbage out? Like, when does the garbage go out? And then we would just wait and see, we wouldn't ask anybody, just wait and see. And we saw the neighbors put the garbage out. We're like, okay, the garbage goes out Sunday night. And in Ontario, our garbage got picked up every week. So the next Sunday, we put our garbage out. And lo and behold, it didn't get picked up because it's every other week here in Nova Scotia. But I was like, where do we go for this? What happens in emergencies? That was the biggest thing. The very first year I was here, I was like, we had a hurricane. And it was Dorian. Hurricane Dorian was the first year that we were here. And I'm from Ontario. We didn't have hurricanes. I didn't know what to expect for a hurricane. So our power goes out and we have, for 5 days, and the tree had fallen over across my driveway and all of this stuff. And my first thing was, I don't know, who do I call? I don't even know, who do I call? Who's in charge? What do I do? All of that panic. Now, been here for a while. I know the people to call. Now, here's the beautiful thing about Nova Scotia. My neighbors just showed up, and before I even asked them, they were on my driveway chainsawing the tree that had fallen across my driveway because the neighbors here are fantastic. The point is, it's uncomfortable. So when you move into a new space, there's uncomfortable because you don't know what is expected. Where do you find stuff? Where do you get the things? It's a little bit uncomfortable and stressful. As you start to settle in, it's because you've created patterns and predictability, and your dog is no different. Your brand new dog is no different. So where do most people go wrong? They think that they have to do things. They have this overwhelming sense of I got a new dog. I have to do things. I have to do things with the dog. I got to meet other dogs. I got to have people meet my dog. I have to do stuff. And it's actually the opposite. I want you to do less. Do less. Don't do anything. Do less stuff. Right? I see people out, at the pet stores and I just got this dog. And I'm like, no. We don't want to be doing all of that. We want to just create patterns and peacefulness and calmness and routines and rhythms and all of that stuff. We don't want to do that. So that being said, holiday adoptions would be challenging for a dog. It would be challenging for a dog, but you could still pull it off as long as you are ensuring that your dog, your new dog, is starting to understand all of the things of survival. Think survival, right? Who feeds me? Who walks me? Where's the water at? Where do I sleep? What are the rhythms here? When do we go for walks? What is expected of me? What rooms can I go in? What rooms can't I go in? Make sure you set those up first too, please. I've talked to so many people that are like, well, I'm just going to let the dog settle in and then I'll put in sort of the restrictions because I really don't want them in this room and I really don't want them down here and I really don't want them. No, don't do that. Don't let them settle in, make those mistakes and then tell them they're wrong. Don't do that. Do it first, figure it out so that your new dog knows exactly what is expected for them. That is what will make them comfortable. So there you go. I'm not going to speak on whether or not I think it's a good idea or a bad idea. I think there are definitely more challenges if you are adopting around the holiday season, but if you're aware of them and you're being intentional, dogs are also very resilient. So there you go. I hope that helps. I don't know if anyone's getting a new dog this Christmas, but if you are, there you go. All right, my friend. I think that's it for today. If you like this kind of thing, be sure to head on over to Apple and leave us a 5-star written review. It really helps to push the podcast out to more and more people. Spotify, you can leave a comment, follow the show, and also leave a rating. If you haven't already, be sure to join us over in the free Facebook group, Living Beyond Obedience. Connect with other dog lovers over there. And as always, get out there today, my friend, and be the person that your dog thinks you are. Because your dog thinks that you are amazing. And so do I. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now. Oh, and one more thing. This podcast is meant for entertainment and education purposes only and is not meant to replace hands-on professional training. If you're really struggling with your dog, please reach out to a professional in your area. All right, I think that's it. Bye for now.